I video recorded this part, but unfortunately something happened and I wasn't able to redo it. So this is part 2 of my story. Here comes the part of did your parents or anyone find out? Yes, that's exactly what happened. They found out. I ended up becoming comfortable enough to confide in someone who ended up telling my grandma and mom. I came home from school one day. This was spring break, 8th grade, and my mom, dad, and his wife were in the living room waiting for me. I instantly knew something was wrong because they never come together like that, and too my dad's wife was present. They allowed me to get comfortable and my dad jumped right in saying, "So, what is this you're going around telling people? You got a boyfriend? When did you get a boyfriend? You telling people some boy hurt you?" So, at this moment I'm thinking, should I stick to my story of what I told the individual or do I just tell the full truth? But I was so nervous and did not like how none of them were approaching me. My mom pulled him back and her and my dad's wife started saying they need to be more calm and take it easy on me. Well, that still did not happen. My mom started asking me what I told the person that I confided in and that they contacted her. As I was speaking, I was letting them know that yes, it did happen, and my dad interrupted saying, "So, what's this boyfriend's name? Where does he live? When did this happen?" And he was asking other personal questions and I just froze because I didn't have all that planned out. I told the individual that it was a boyfriend because I didn't know if I could fully trust them. You can imagine how strong my trust issues were at that moment. They asked me to give detail of my experience and I wasn't ready for that. So, I just ended up telling them it wasn't true. I didn't feel comfortable telling my story with the reactions, and because my dad's wife was there, we weren't close and I was upset that she was there because I was thinking this should be between my parents and I only, and I can invite you in if I feel comfortable. So, I again started thinking, wow. Everybody is just telling my business to everyone and it seems like everyone wants to play with the situation. My parents did not come to me in a respectful and loving way, and instead of acknowledging that, I was manipulated into "I'm doing this because I love you." When I mentioned that it was all made up, my dad was real heated and my mom seemed very annoyed. It of course escalated from there. My dad is like, "You know this is serious and you don't need to be lying about stuff like that, and you're telling people. Got us looking crazy and you looking crazy." And I mean, he was just going off. I knew that I should have just stayed quiet and not told the individual. Everything that I didn't want to happen was happening. Fast forward. I ended up staying with my dad for spring break. The most awkward time ever, thanks mom. LOL. I would have rather stayed home. So I was pissed that she allowed me to be with him. I don't know if it was already planned. Can't remember, but after that I'm like, wow, I still have to go with them? Okay. Stayed with him half of break, and I remember him and his wife made me watch a movie about a young girl who experienced rape. Y'all, I was so mad. I wanted to scream at them. Throughout the movie my dad was pointing stuff out and saying it in a smart way. After the movie ended his wife is like, "What did you get from that?" I don't remember my response, but I believe I was just silent the whole time. I did not want to say anything to them. I was still frozen. It was so bad. I was getting yelled at because I wasn't saying nothing, but I just couldn't bring myself to be honest and reveal the identity of my cousin. And it's like they were doing and saying things just to fuss or make me feel bad. Even if it was a lie, you're supposed to support your child in an appropriate way and educate them in a respectful manner. The rest of spring break I spent with my grandparents, and to make a long story short, it was about the same reaction. My mom was eager to tell them of what happened, and my granddad was going off. It was so wild. I felt so bad because everybody was mad at me. I lied, and people weren't really trying to believe anything, even though I lied before I said it wasn't true. It's like the reaction was like, yeah, whatever, this didn't happen, which is one of the reasons why I lied. I was so upset and hurt that my parents would even think I would play about something like that. And I remember my mom telling my grandma that I probably was lying because I had seen a movie that had a scene in it and just started creating stuff for attention. That was crazy. I was just thinking this situation is constantly going downhill. So many other situations happened in middle school, but it will be too much to share. Going into high school, I ended up becoming close to one girl who was like a big sister to me. I mean, she came to see me when I was going to the dance at school. When I graduated, she accepted me when no one else in our neighborhood did. She's a year older than me, so she was a sophomore when I was starting freshman year. I trusted her towards the end of 8th grade, and I actually told this girl everything, even things that I'm not able to share today, and she was helpful and supportive. She didn't always have the right words, but she loved me even through all of my transitions from my experiences. I was still getting bullied. Fast forward to starting high school. Freshman year was so tough because I was trying to build everything back up. Myself, my grades, relationships. My grades dropped in 7th grade when everything got worse. It was so hard because things were still getting worse and it was a huge distraction. People were always trying to pick fights with me, but I was able to fight through. It was bothering me so much of the rape experience and reactions that I experienced from so many people. I didn't know how to heal from something so severe and traumatic like that. At this point I was just looking for an outlet. Starting sophomore year, the girl and I started falling off. Not in a bad way, we were just in different places at the time, and I met other acquaintances and a couple of friends that year. It was so weird because I felt like everybody was just talking to me because they felt bad for me. I didn't sense genuineness except for one person. Shout out to Kiana. I love you, girl. I ended up trusting yet again the wrong person, and she ended up telling someone else who confronted me about it. But between this moment is also when I was in and out of the counselor's office because of my academic status and the situations that were going on in school. I remember my counselor asked me about it and I told her what was the hot topic at the moment. She stated that she was sorry and I could talk to her if I wanted to. Next thing I know, she's calling home, and I was so upset. I knew that they were only supposed to call home if you were threatening yourself or if someone was threatening you. So I'm like, why is this lady calling home about something that happened years ago? Of course that didn't go too well with my mom. All I remember is she stated something like, "You're still lying about this situation." Again I felt super embarrassed. Fast forward. I told a cousin what happened because I was still in my seeking a listening ear stage, and trying to get others to tell me how to heal from my experience. The cousin ended up telling my dad, and here we go again. My dad calls my mom, and he's fussing. He tells my mom, "So we're back here again. You know she already lied about this." This time my cousin's identity was out, so he knew who I was talking about. The cousin is on his side, our cousin I should say. So my dad is trying to defend our cousin. My mom tells him, "I know we've been here, but I don't think she's lying. I believe something happened, just not what she is saying." And my dad is just like this symbol, and he's super upset and got off the phone quick. But in that moment, I still was feeling some type of way because when my mom said that, I'm thinking, what do you mean you believe something happened but not the rape? I didn't even ask any questions, I just went to my room. She then came upstairs trying to talk to me. We unfortunately didn't get anywhere with the talk. It seemed like she was trying to blame me and make me feel guilty, instead of supporting me in the moment. In the future, my mom started to believe and accept what happened. She noticed the weird vibes between my cousin and I when I would go to family functions or there was a funeral. I never received an apology for her behavior, but she did let me know she knows he was guilty and she started to dislike him a lot. But my dad never accepted it or mentioned it anymore. I don't know where he stands with that till this day. Backtrack to when I was confronted about the experience in high school. So the person that I told and the girl that was like my big sister in middle school were close and they ended up talking to each other about it. I'm not sure which one told the individual that confronted me, but she comes up to me saying, "Hey, I heard that you are lying about getting raped. You wish someone would hit that." I asked who told her that and why would they tell you that it's not true, and she called me a liar and wouldn't tell me anything. Of course later she texted me about the issue, basically saying the same thing, and tried to express at the end that she was understanding. And it was so crazy to me because the only reason I told the acquaintance is because she was going through something similar and I felt she needed someone to relate to. But instead of her being like, "Oh, I'm glad I'm not alone. Thanks for sharing your story," etc., she tells others. Y'all, things are always so wild for me. I couldn't believe it, and the boldness of the individual confronting me. It's crazy that she said I lied about it because I never told anyone that part. So it pissed me off that they were leaking my business and assuming that it was a lie. Because this time I was super honest about everything. The individual ended up telling others.